onto what we must talk about.
What must we talk about?
The Game of the Thrones.
Oh.
If she had just finished that workout, she would have had enough points to win.
So what color was your pee? It's black.
So
Black is my soul? Are you pointing at me and my soul?
Interesting. You think Brent has the capacity to beat Matt?
100%.
Really?
He's proven it.
White Walkers, ridiculous. Let me get on my dragon.
All right.
All right.
Now
Sweet.
onto what we must talk about.
What must we talk about?
The Game of the Thrones.
Oh.
If she had just finished that workout, she would have had enough points to win.
So what color was your pee? It's black.
So
Black is my soul? Are you pointing at me and my soul?
Interesting. You think Brent has the capacity to beat Matt?
100%.
Really?
He's proven it.
White Walkers, ridiculous. Let me get on my dragon.
All right.
All right.
Now
Sweet.
onto what we must talk about.
What must we talk about?
The Game of the Thrones.
Oh.
If she had just finished that workout, she would have had enough points to win.
So what color was your pee? It's black.
So
Black is my soul? Are you pointing at me and my soul?
Interesting. You think Brent has the capacity to beat Matt?
100%.
Really?
He's proven it.
White Walkers, ridiculous. Let me get on my dragon.
All right.
All right.
Now
Sweet.
onto what we must talk about.
What must we talk about?
The Game of the Thrones.
Oh.
If she had just finished that workout, she would have had enough points to win.
So what color was your pee? It's black.
So
Black is my soul? Are you pointing at me and my soul?
Interesting. You think Brent has the capacity to beat Matt?
100%.
Really?
He's proven it.
White Walkers, ridiculous. Let me get on my dragon.
All right.
All right.
Now
Sweet.
onto what we must talk about.
What must we talk about?
The Game of the Thrones.
Oh.
If she had just finished that workout, she would have had enough points to win.
So what color was your pee? It's black.
So
Black is my soul? Are you pointing at me and my soul?
Interesting. You think Brent has the capacity to beat Matt?
100. Welcome. Brat, brat. Skip. To this episode of Scale as Needed. If you're watching, you may notice a couple things. One is I'm wearing a Tool shirt.
Yeah, I didn't know
which is just a
had,
shirt
gone that far.
of the
Are you legally required to wear that?
greatest
James
band
Maynard
of
Keenan.
all
He did
time. Other way around, bud. And then
Maynard James Keenan.
you may also notice that Kyle Bogart,
He has gotten much more handsome.
he is significantly better looking, more tan, better hair, way bigger dick.
Finally got
That's
the plastic surgery there.
For all the audio listeners.
By the way, speaking of way bigger dick, I have an important thing also for the visual for the people watching the podcast.
I don't know if I want to know where this is going.
I think you know where it's going, Armin, because you see, there's also a unique thing. The podcast this week, all four of the people at this table have their own water bottles.
Yeah.
Now, what can be said about based on these water bottles? What can be said about Avis based on these water bottles?
Go
we
on.
have Chase has a nice medium-sized water bottle. You know, medium size, medium length, medium girth.
But it tapers to a fat tip.
Very fat tip. Daniel's is slightly longer, but very skinny all the way through. Now, conventionally,
Yeah,
conventionally, you'd say Armin would be the winner because his is the longest and also fairly girthy. But I think that I'm the winner here because mine is by far the girthiest, and that's really what matters. That really is what matters because you don't need to go that deep.
Hold on, let's
Girthiness counts.
We need to figure out exactly where the girth measurements fit here. Dude, that is equivalent girth.
Armin hands down the winner. Just
Equivalent girth.
You guys.
That's a new Scaleless Needed shirt right there.
equivalent girth.
Also, I think mine butt mine up against Chase's there, like on the bottom, same way you just did with the yeah. I feel like I have more consistent girth than Chase though.
Well, they start around the same girth, but Chase's just tapers
So
up
wait,
to
does that like okay?
a
I'm just here
Husafel-esque
for the
with.
sponsorship
I mean, just
money.
clearly a much
Send
bigger
me
head
all
there,
your
yeah.
free shit.
it goes out like a cone.
That's right.
Also,
Which is the most pleasurable shape. A cone, base forest.
That's actually the new like gimmick. The new condom gimmick is like coned for your pleasure.
Chase, what were you about to say, bud? You're sitting in
we're literally like two minutes into the episode, and we've already gotten called out about you being a Tom Brady fanboy and saying that the Pats were going to walk all over the Eagles.
Who was it? Tim Donegan?
No, Drew Cannon.
Oh, Drew Cannon? Okay. Yeah,
And he
totally
says
fair.
Big Dick Nick.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the thing that I found this out last week that you're actually a Patriots fan.
I am a fan of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, yes.
I'm a fan of winning.
I am also a fan of winning.
So,
Same reason why I like Rich.
is there an actual story behind this, or is it just that like you're the worst kind of fan and you go, oh well, they win, so I like them? Because this is the thing. I feel like
How's that make
Unless
you the
you're-
worst type of fan?
because well,
Daniel
here's the deal.
lives in a
growing up.
pre-industrial area where you have to root for the team in the area of which you were born
Well, let's
and
say
raised.
growing up, you probably didn't have a team.
No,
Like,
I was
you
in
did
Los
not.
Angeles.
Yeah, but like, and this is the thing I'm trying to figure out is like, why weren't you a Raiders fan or a it's like this is
Because they sucked.
See, that's the dumbest thing.
What-
Being a
what's dumb
Patriots
about
fan,
that?
being a Patriots fan is the worst, especially if you don't live in like the New England area, is the worst thing.
Crab cakes and football, Daniel. That's what
I'm gonna. There's gonna be a rare instance. This might never be said again on this podcast, but Daniel, I agree with you.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
what is
because
happening?
I'm not even a football fan at all. I was default in the Super Bowl a Patriots fan because that's the only team I'd ever heard of the two that were there. So I was a fan of that. But to the extent,
Fair enough.
Never heard of these. You could have made up 100 fake team names. Eagles could have been one of them. I wouldn't have.
generic
Yeah,
football name, yeah.
exactly. Yeah. But yes, I do understand that whatever is the team that is in close proximity to where you grew up, you do have to root for them, good or ill. There, Cowboys haven't been great lately. I still vaguely
So-
pay attention to them.
This is going to be incredibly interesting for all the listeners, I'm sure. But football history in Los Angeles, we had the Rams and the Raiders at one point, and neither of those teams were around while I was, at any age to care about sports. And I never have up until this day, still don't really give a shit about football. I only really cared about football because I got to play fantasy football, and the RPG nerd inside of me loved being able to like play with statistics that other human beings had to physically suffer for. So
fantasy football is just a fucking RPG.
Yeah.
For like football. Like,
I love it.
I play it every year. Won second place this year.
Congratulations.
It was great.
So
Like-
I was a huge fan of fantasy football. I stopped playing fantasy football a couple years ago because I just got too busy to watch any games. So like there wasn't really any. I never watched games when I didn't play fantasy football, and I only watched when I was playing fantasy football. And when I started getting too busy to watch, I stopped playing fantasy football as well because it becomes very dry when it's just numbers on paper. And so all throughout my entire, the last 20 years of my life, basically, the Patriots have been pretty fucking impressive. And I like good stories. And I think Tom Brady's and Bill Belichick's stories are very, very interesting. And I respect game. And I think they both have really fucking solid game.
Goat recognized goat.
That's right. Game recognized game. So that is the reason why I'm a fan of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I wouldn't say I'm a Patriots fan. They just happen to be the Patriots. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, like being a Kanye West fan, being a Patriots fan and a Tom Brady fan is very hard in 2018.
Yeah, it's like duh, they're the fucking greatest.
Why would you go against the best?
If you're not a fan, it means that you're kind of
A
just
hater.
wrong. Yeah.
I
Well,
am.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, according to the comments here, your wife also agrees with Cliff.
Well, of course, Katie agrees. She
Unimportant. Where
and
did
the Seattle Seahawks got trounced a few years ago by the Patriots, and of course, it's a sore subject. I remember that day.
that was a big day for me.
That was a
'cause
big
I
day.
hate Russell.
Well, fair enough. Either way, Katie is from Washington State, and she is a homer. She has always been a Seattle Seahawks fan.
And see, and that's the thing that I like. This is the thing that I get behind. Like my brother, we're both from Houston. He's not a Texans fan.
Strange.
He just, as a child, decided I like the Colts, and stuck with them.
Did he decide to like the Colts because Peyton Manning?
No, that was actually the thing. There's literally it's the thing because the Oilers left, right? There is evidence of him as a little tiny baby, just going, I like that one.
Interesting.
He literally I like those colors,
Fair
and that's
enough.
it. And then he became a Colts fan. Peyton did all of his shit, and he felt very good for a long time.
Good.
He feels really bad right now, but he's stuck
Understandably.
with them.
Well, Andrew
I
Luck
have a feeling
is
that
solid.
I
but-
have a feeling that when Tom Brady retires and Bill Belichick goes away, you're just going to be like, oh, okay, whatever. And that's the thing. And that's the thing that I think is annoying in a sports fan.
I am not a sports fan, Daniel. I am a fan of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. So
Drew Cannon's back on here and just said he hopes you kiss Katie the way that Tom Brady kisses his son.
oh, that's fucked up. You know what, guys? I think people are taking that video and making it real weird. A lot weirder than it needs to be. Because
A
it's
lot weirder
already
than it
pretty
needs to
weird.
be.
It's already pretty weird, and it's getting weirder.
That kiss is held on to for 5 minutes too long.
How dare you?
I wish I had thoughts on this because I'm not a football fan. I haven't seen it, but I'm only picturing how gross this could be here.
It's not that gross. It's kind of weird. I don't know.
gross.
I just find it weird. Either way, yes, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick will retire one day. One day they will not be Patriots. I will continue to be fans of theirs until they do something that I don't want to be a fan of anymore.
So you're not going to be a fan of the Tom Brady car dealership?
No, probably not.
You're not going to buy your next car from that.
No.
No. No.
I think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick don't stop playing football until football's not a big thing anymore. Which is what? Can't be too far.
2 or 3 years from now?
Yeah.
Probably realistically 10 years. 15 years, 20
I don't
years.
know.
I think they play until it's done. They're
Every-
the last thing.
Everything.
60-year-old Tom Brady.
And he's still crushing.
Let me give it to you from a different perspective. Everything that I enjoy about football is things that should appear in 30 for 30s. If it's not worthy of or being told as a 30 for 30 style documentary, I honestly don't really know or care about it. So Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, 30 for 30 up the ass. They're going to make an entire series of 30 for 30s just of their career, I'm sure. So that's a good way of looking at it. It's the stories that I care about, which is why Nick Foles to me is also very
Well, I was
interesting.
gonna say, then in that case, it is interesting. Yeah, as you were saying, yeah, sure. There's going to be so much to be said about them, but I feel like the far more interesting stories are the Nick Foles stories and the fucking Case Keenum stories.
Sure.
Hashtag Big Dick Nick.
Big Dick
Yeah.
Nick Foles, who's literally going to, having gone off of winning the MVP at the Super Bowl, is going to go back to being a backup quarterback next season.
Honestly,
Well, I think
that's the best move.
That's probably the best move for him.
Of course,
And two,
he's not that good of a quarterback.
his other option though is actually very interesting. It's if say they trade him away or whatever, he's going to get a fat paycheck.
Sure. Which is
for
good
him.
for him.
Yeah, it's
either way,
great.
like I said, I
It's
like
so- yeah.
stories. So Nick Foles' story is also very interesting.
They already
to me.
did that story.
But yeah, the Super Bowl this year was a really good game. I actually had a
fuck
great
yeah.
time watching it. I watch maybe one game a year, and outside of the Super Bowl, and I really enjoyed watching the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
We're doing that thing again where we talk about football, and I feel like everyone's going to start shitting on us just like Instagram all over again.
No, we're doing that thing again. We're doing that thing again.
Okay,
so
I'm doing that thing again.
Chase put together. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I
but
saw this,
Chase
yes.
put together the Fitter Bowl 2018, which was just honestly, it was just an excuse to be able to tag as many of the
that
biggest
is not true.
superstars
It was
in
an
our sports as
exercise
possible.
in creativity.
Right.
I wanted to take all of my favorite athletes from strongman, CrossFit, and some weightlifting and put them on a team to see which ones.
Would be the best clickbait.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately.
exactly.
Yeah, it
And
actually
it
says,
fucking blew up. It was fantastic.
It says, "Are hypothetical football teams killing you?" That's my lead copy
Nice.
for people to click on it. No,
You're such a professional marketer. It's beautiful.
I try my
But
best.
I think my favorite was the poll results.
Yes.
That was the thing that I saw. I did not see it.
It turns out, fun fact, Matt Fraser, like most people in New England, big Patriots fan.
That's
and,
wild.
Go figure.
It's wild. And I
Chase
knew that.
put him on the Eagles.
That's part of the reason why I'm a Patriots fan is because Matt Fraser said to be.
Yeah, goat recognize goat.
Eh. Oh well.
Either way, the dozens of hours you put into that image, just trying to figure out how to use Photoshop,
I ultimately ended up just cutting out everybody's faces with paper and gluing it to cardboard and taking a picture of it.
Like photocopying it and scanning it in.
That was the best option.
Yeah, I agree. It turned out nice.
Yeah, note taken. We'll stay in our lane from now on.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think we should. We should continue not staying in our lane.
No, actually, no. Your next thing is Winter
Cup.
Olympics.
Oh.
Winter Olympics.
Winter Olympics, I can do that.
That's actually not a terrible idea.
Who could beat Shaun White in a snowboard competition?
Matt Fraser.
For sure.
Yeah.
If it's the last event of the games and he needs to score the points to win, he is going to do like a front side 1080 duck walk or whatever they call these tricks these days. I have no idea.
Start preparing Matt Fraser.
Yeah. He
Winter
probably already
Olympics.
could. Wasn't he like a competitive skier for a minute?
His
Sure, why not?
parents,
Why-
his parents
his
were
parents.
ice skaters.
Yeah, his parents were ice skaters, but
so
didn't-
genetically, he should be good at winter
I
sports.
remember hearing the story about him doing like a double front flip or a double back flip on a ski jump as like a kid just because he could.
How wild would it be if after his CrossFit career, he just jumps into competitive ice skating like his parents, and we
Yeah.
see him on
He was
the
a full
Winter
on like
Olympics?
figure skater.
We already know he
Like-
looks great in a leotard,
Yeah.
so
How do we know this?
well, I mean, he looks good in a singlet. If you had some sparkles and like pant
extrapolate,
legs,
yeah.
so you're only making it better.
That's
I don't
actually
know.
your next Photoshop
Yeah.
job you have to deal with.
I'm on it.
Dude, put his face on.
I mean, seriously, singlets are so revealing. I can honestly say that the outfits of most male figure skaters are way less gay than a singlet.
Yeah, singlets are pretty gay. I used to wear one all the time.
Chase was
Oh, I
like-
saw that picture. I saw that picture of you in a singlet there.
There's a lot of those.
You are more jacked than you are now, and it was a revealing singlet.
You were more jacked as
You could see his water bottle.
Yeah, I was probably like two.
nice.
I was probably like 210.
What?
Yeah, man.
Damn, dude. Like
CrossFit makes
like
it weak.
thickness or like of like muscle.
It was like, it was like muscle.
Whoa.
Buys. I had like
Mostly the biceps.
mostly buys.
Another 15 pounds of muscle in the upper arm area.
I think it was mostly like inflammation from how sore I was every day. It was just all water weight.
Yeah, you know, I wore an old school wrestling singlet to my very first weightlifting meet, and there's still videos of it somewhere. I wish I could maybe find it somewhere. It's on my Facebook. But it's like this old green with the white bands singlet that like legit like the legs went above my bulge. Like that's how short
is
the legs
tradition.
were, right? And the top was so thin it was like spaghetti straps.
Ooh,
it was like
so both nipples visible.
both nipples clearly visible.
Did you have a hard time trying to figure out which side was the front and which side was the back?
100%.
Yeah, that's a good singlet.
Yeah. That's how you know you have a good singlet. Yeah, and you know, I definitely did not fill it out. I didn't look like I fucking belonged in a singlet like that. I just remember reading the rules for the weightlifting meet and it's saying I needed a singlet, and I was like, "Hey coach, like where can I buy these singlets?" And he's like, "Just go to a wrestling shop and buy a singlet." And I went, and you know, you go in with great intentions. I'm going to buy myself a singlet that I can use for weightlifting. And then I realized I'm in a wrestling shop, and I asked them, "Hey, do you have those really tiny old school singlets?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course we do."
Asked specifically for this.
I was like, "Yeah, I'll take one of those."
Is this back when you were wearing tights to do workouts and stuff? Too?
This was before I was wearing tights to
Oh, wow.
do workouts. This was maybe a
Gateway
little-
drug.
Yeah, the gateway drug. It was like an overlapping dark period in my life. But yeah, that was good times. It's good times. Very, very tiny. I mean, just picture it. Slightly overweight, very, very small singlet, knee-high socks, striped, obviously, weightlifting shoes, chalk everywhere. I like chalked up my quads.
It's
I was
important.
like, I
Yeah.
need something here.
Maximum
Otherwise,
effort.
my legs are going to get shredded by this barbell.
Wait, so you wore the singlet, but you actually didn't have a t-shirt on, so your nipples were out.
Yes, my nipples were out.
Yeah.
This happened.
I need to see this picture
It
more
was
than
a
anything
video.
I am
else.
It's
trying
a series
so-
of 6 videos of
It's a
all of my
video?
lifts. Yeah. It's
Okay.
videos of all of my lifts from the California State Games.
I'm trying so hard to find this
Yeah.
right now.
It's gnarly. Oh no.
Tommy G. Good thing wrestling and weightlifting coaches don't follow suit with baseball and wear the same thing as the team. Can you picture like weightlifting coaches just insane?
Oh god, here it is.
Oh man, Daniel found it. Let's see if we can toss it up onto the big screen. This is important, guys. This is history. We're gonna be looking back at. Oh, here it is.
Instagram.
Boom,
God, I love Facebook.
dude. Check that shit out. By the way, this is a 90-kilo clean and jerk.
8 years
198
ago.
pounds from 8 years ago. I had literally just started training.
Dude,
8
you
years
look
ago.
jacked.
I don't know if you guys heard Kai, but Kai's in the back going, "Oh, look at those nipples." Yeah.
What
my
the fuck
God.
is this singlet?
Yeah, dude.
This is amazing. This is
I told you.
198 pounds.
This is a
Man, you're
198 pound
really-
clean and jerk. Ooh, check out that power clean. I don't even know whose shoes those are. I borrowed those shoes because they definitely aren't mine. Actually, those might be the shoes I have in my garage right now.
Daniel, I predict we could get you clean and jerking more than that within 3 months if got a little more commitment and dedication.
Yeah, but your nipples will never be that big.
My nipples will never be that big. However, I will take that challenge because I need to get into that anyway.
Well, there's a 225.
But
There's a
lockout.
out.
Press
it was
out.
ugly. But they definitely gave me that lift. I mean,
They
look
gave
at
you
me.
the lift?
Yeah, look at me.
Well, I guess
you're gonna
who's-
take a lift like that away from me. They're like, "Oh, this challenged kid walked
It's,
in."
it's, it's like it's like when
you
you
can't
lose-
take
kid.
take lifts away from me.
You always praise your 5-year-old's finger paints there.
Right.
You don't want to tell them they did a bad job.
Precisely. Here's me missing a 200-pound snatch.
Oh, you tried for a 200-pound snatch
I
and a
snatched-
198 clean and jerk in the same meet?
Well, the 198 was my opener.
Okay. That's a what?
That's
Huh?
ugly. It's not pretty, but you know.
That's
Whatever.
not bad. That was not
That
bad.
was back when? When was that?
That was 2010.
Yeah,
like
to
early
be fair, that
2010.
probably that would have won the CrossFit Games then. So.
Bro, in 2010, this was I had snatched 200 in training at this point, and I was the only person, other than the two coaches that I had, who I knew who could do that. And
Yeah.
I went back to just because I was training at a bunch of different gyms at this time because I was in school, and I went back to the first gym that I had started at, CrossFit LA, which was owned by, at that time, Andy Petronic, who was like a endurance guy.
Okay.
And so the flavor of the gym was endurance-y. It was a
Yes.
lot of like Annie versus Isabel, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the best way of putting it. And I came back and I snatched like 200 while I was like working out there one afternoon, and Andy called my coach. He called John Wellborn, and he asked John Wellborn if he was giving me steroids.
That's fair.
That's a fucking fair.
That's
Because
20
no one goes. I couldn't snatch a fucking barbell when I walked into Andy's gym. Andy watched me fail snatching a fucking barbell, and within like 8 months, I was snatching 200 pounds.
Yeah.
But that's just because I had nothing else to do. Oh, yeah,
shit.
sick fail. That's because I had
Sick
nothing
fail.
else to do, and I was in college, and I really just wanted to lift weights. So
Yeah, and
good times.
This is from a time 2010. That's before you had to become a weightlifting specialist in CrossFit. So to do anything over 225 for a snatch was damn near impossible. It was myth. It was legend.
yeah,
Nobody did that.
myth, legend. That's right.
Now we just see
guys, I was-
315, 330
Myth.
all the
I
time.
was so strong, so fit at one point in my life.
Myth.
comparatively.
Legend.
This is the story of how Armin should have been the 2011 and 2012 CrossFit Games champion.
Remember, this is 2010 when Jason Khalipa was failing 135 snatches all day in that first workout.
This was before the 2010 games.
We just watched that video
Yeah.
last week, and
Yeah.
I'd never seen it.
So if you don't know what Cliff and Chase are referring to here, it's and a lot of people don't. This is really interesting to me that like the history of our sport kind of gets lost because it's progressing so fucking fast. There's
Yeah.
always something else to focus on. There's always another Katrin or another mat to like look at. But Khalipa, he won the games in 08. He nearly won the games in 2009. If he hadn't basically died on the trail run, he would have, like, points wise, been at or near the top. He would have been competing against Miko. In 2010, he comes back, and on the very first workout, which is Amanda, it was the first time we'd seen Amanda, 975
snatches at
snatches,
135, ran
or
muscle ups.
and snatches.
And this is big deal here. This is under the spotlights. Is the first first
the
games
Home
at the
Depot.
Home Depot
it's the
Center.
first
This is the
Friday
first
night event ever.
Yes, it was bigger than anything we'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And
Jason Khalipa, who at that point had already trademarked the stumble rest. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's the Kalipa drops his barbell, takes like 2 stumbly steps back, and then walks back to the bar and starts going. It's the Kalipa trademark.
Somehow
rest.
miraculously normally hits it.
Right. And he struggled to hit his last snatch for over 2 minutes. 2 minutes
like
of
220,
missing
230, something
his
like that.
last snatch at 135 pounds, last squat snatch at 135 pounds.
He travels like a quarter mile around that arena floor,
Yeah.
chasing that barbell.
So
It almost
imagine-
takes out one of the jib arms.
It's the tennis stadium at the Home
one of the
Depot
gyms.
Center.
Yes.
And
like a square.
at the very middle of it, they set up like this very simple rig where they have the rings hanging off of it, and the barbells are just right next to the rings. And his barbell moved all the way out to the very far corner of the tennis stadium,
Yeah,
and
so
he
this
nearly
is the rig.
murdered. He like went all the way out over here. He nearly murdered 3 camera guys, one of which was operating a jib arm, which is those giant arms that like give you floaty shots while you're going around things.
Yeah, he found a way, because normally when you miss a snatch, generally, you go backwards, right? You get here and you fall backwards. He found a way to face plant.
That's very true. Actually, at one point, I totally forgot about this. At one point, the camera is showing another athlete finishing the workout, and in the background, he's snatching, and he legit just falls like almost like a tree falling over. Like just everything's stiff, and he just falls straight down onto the ground, like face first, and the bar just like rolls away from him. It was. It wasn't funny, guys. Stop laughing.
I highly recommend the video if you're somewhere like training for the Open, or you're trying to get super fit and you have days that set you back. Just go back and watch that video, because for me, I was like, oh, at least I never fucked up that bad.
And also, to tell you how far CrossFit has come, there was a video just a couple years ago where Camille did that workout. Now, Camille was also at that games and did really well.
That was
on
the
the
first time we
women's
saw
side.
Camille.
First saw Camille, but she did Amanda with the male weight, 135 pounds, and outperformed a hell of a lot of the male
Nearly
athletes
all of
in
them.
2010, including left Jason Kalipa in the dust there. Perfect form every single time, and this is just 4 or 5 years later. I think
Nowadays, it's like
Iceland strong.
I mean, nowadays they did Amanda 45 at the games last year, which is 45 reps total instead of 21 reps, so it's a little bit more than double. And most of the winning scores, like the winning scores on the men's and women's side, would have beat most of the scores from the original Amanda. So there's been a slight the weapons race of fitness has increased slightly across the past 10 years.
Here's a task I would like to see, and I think I'm pitching this video now, is to have Armin start completing events from CrossFit Games past, starting with 2007 games, and see at what point Armin can maintain his reign as the fittest man on earth. So go through the 2007 events.
I like
on
this
the men's side.
On the men's side.
I would not win a single event.
2007?
In 2007, I would be competitive in the CrossFit Total,
CrossFit Total, okay.
and that's about it.
I
The
like
2007 event, there's one event that has 125 pull-ups in it, dude.
I like this idea because it ends with Armin dying, and, and anything like that gets my seal of approval.
That's Chase's end
So
game.
we have the CrossFit Total, we have the Hopper workout, which had the
It
all
was
the pull-ups.
1,000-meter row, and then 5 rounds, 25 pull-ups, 7 shouldered overhead.
Now, and there was the trail run, which we can't really emulate, but there was a 4th event. What was the 4th event?
The first games was just those 3.
Oh, just those 3?
Yeah, first game was just those 3. The second games, 08, was every second counts. It was the trail event, the hill sprint, and then it was, it was a trail event, hill sprint, the deadlift burpee one, chest to bar Fran, and then whatchamacallit, the Grace.
I think you could be
Heavy
somewhat
squat race.
competitive in that one.
Come on. Listen, you know what? I appreciate it, and I'm going to let you continue thinking that, and I am never, ever going to put it to the test and embarrass myself by losing. I mean, I thought originally you were like,
Oh, the
about
way, yeah,
the
right.
women's weights.
Fittest woman. That actually, honestly,
I wouldn't
That's
win
a better. That's a
2007.
better idea. You wouldn't win 2007.
Too many pull-ups, man. I can't do that. That's a lot of pull-ups.
You can do a lot of pull-ups, but you can also smash them all on the
That's
total.
true.
There.
I would destroy them on the total. I would destroy them
since those are the only two events we can equate there. Then again, was it a?
It's a draw.
It's a draw. Okay.
It's a
Okay.
draw.
It's a
You're
draw.
still competitive there. You're
Yeah,
still competitive.
obviously.
We can get up through 2009. Because you could easily win the women's title in 2008.
Yeah.
2009. Where do we leave off there?
I could do the deadlift. for
Easily
sure,
win.
But I don't know if I would easily win.
I don't know, man.
The last workout has like a big amount of that's just a big chipper. There's a workout in 2009 which I still think is one of the hardest CrossFit workouts ever programmed. That just like smashes people's lives.
Which one is it?
It's the 3 rounds, 30 wall ball, 30 hang squat or hang squat snatches.
Yep.
I've
actually done that
savage.
workout before.
Yeah.
I've done that workout, and it was easy for me because I just like took a half hour and got water in between and all that. But to try to do it fast, whoa, that's a whole different thing.
That workout
Yeah.
is
Yeah, I'm dealing with it in real time.
thanks, Chase. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Hey, Kai.
In case you guys are wondering,
The
Oh, okay.
computer broke it. We're sorry.
yeah. So in case you guys were watching, too bad.
There's
There's
8
now
people.
another video. But those of you who are
Including
listening,
me.
that 30 seconds of confusion right there was just because our Facebook Live went down. Anyway, yeah, that workout, the 30 wall ball, 30 hang squat snatches, that's a pretty gnarly workout. That's a very, very gnarly workout.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
That
It hurts
sounds
the soul.
awful.
It hurts the soul. It hurts deep, deep inside the soul.
And it just doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, you do your wall balls there. Okay, your legs are really sore, but you're going to get relief because you're going to do, oh no, the snatches there. Kind of makes the legs also sore.
That makes
there.
perfect sense because it's just like, I hope you trained your legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we definitely
What
saw
wouldn't make sense?
some, the games all have their own little flavors as well. And 2009 was the welcome to the big leagues year.
Mm-hmm.
And 2017 was the I hope your legs are ready for some volume year. So, who knows? Maybe 2016 was more of an upper body year.
It's the 2017 games, but everything must be completed on your hands.
There you go. That's perfect. Instead of overhead squats, it's weighted freestanding handstand push-ups with a 135-pound barbell balanced on the bottoms of your feet.
I'd pay for it.
Hashtag, that's like some Jujimufu shit right there.
Yeah, actually, that'd be pretty cool to see happen.
But speaking of also a little bit of the weapons race, the arms race of fitness, I stumbled onto this article from 2003 on the Journal, and it's free. You can find it. It's the How Fit Are You article. So back when Greg Glassman was writing all the journal articles, and there was maybe like 3 a year,
The dark times.
I don't know, man. He put together some really, really fascinating things here. But he made this thing he calls basically just like a fitness test. And it is the following 5 events. It is a bench press, 1 rep max, followed by a max set of pull-ups. I don't think kipping was an issue here, so kipping is legal. This was before there was efficient gymnastics
Yeah,
kips.
nobody had
And
butterfly.
nobody had invented the butterfly kip yet.
Yeah, so you can't do the butterfly.
you probably
Gotta
can't
be
do
a
the
standard
butterfly.
frog
Oh, wait,
kick.
so this week we're not allowed to butterfly. We're saying that as a
Yeah,
rule.
for this test, you're not allowed to butterfly.
Whack. I'm already
Although,
out.
I mean, the rule just says any grip as long as the range of motion is complete. So I guess either way. But it's a 1 rep max bench press, and then within 30 seconds of racking the bar, you begin your max set of pull-ups. Then test number 2 is a 15 rep max clean and jerk, unbroken. The weight can't rest on the ground. It can rest on the hang or the rack or overhead. But
Ooh, that is an interesting test to do these days. I'm
Yep,
curious.
and it can be
about that.
squat or power.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. Number 3, Tabata squats, followed by 4 minutes of muscle ups. So Tabata squats is 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and your score is the round within which you get the lowest number of squats.
Yeah.
And then immediately after the Tabata timer is over, including the final 10-second rest, you go for 4-minute AMRAP of muscle ups.
Is it bar or ring? I can't remember.
They
Doesn't specify.
doesn't specify.
There were no bar muscle ups.
but there weren't
then.
bar muscle ups back then, so it's ring muscle ups.
The bar came second?
Oh
I didn't
hell
know
yeah!
this. Yeah.
In CrossFit
Wild.
competition, yeah.
Yes. Then test number 4, 1 rep max deadlift, immediately followed within 30 seconds of a max set of handstand push-ups. The handstand push-ups, quote, must bring the ears below the hands, so it needs to be done on parallel bars, parallettes, or some other raised platform like chairs or books. But using the wall for balance is okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so it's
So
so
gracious.
it's preach.
Greg Glassman.
And then each one of these, and number 5, my personal favorite, which I still think to this day might be impossible to complete. So
If you do it right.
if you do it right, I still think this is impossible to complete. It's a chipper, 800-meter run, 21 thrusters at 75 pounds, 21 strict L pull-ups. And the strictness of the L pull-ups is any grip is okay as long as the ankles stay above the
hip line?
hip. So
Yeah,
the
the hip
ankles
crease.
have to stay above your hip and your legs have to stay locked out, which is pretty demanding, I would say.
Yeah, it's basically going to be like 3.5, 4 minutes of work followed by an
Struggling
hour.
for 2 days. Yeah.
You see, my problem is I don't think that if my knees are locked out, I can get my ankles above my hips hanging from a bar.
Sounds
there.
like you are lacking in one of the 10 general physical skills.
Yeah,
perhaps.
which means you get executed on site.
That's right. You do not meet the minimum requirements of life.
Yeah, that's unreal. This was he put it together in 2003.
In 2003,
and it's still
it's still pretty gnarly. So here's what is very fascinating about this is not only that these tests are all like these 5 workouts are all really valid. Like you throw in a 10K on like a run and you have pretty much covered every fucking thing that you'd want to cover in a competition. But even better than this is that he has a scoring method. So for the bench press and pull-ups as well as the squat, the Tabata squat and muscle ups, as well as the deadlift and handstand push-ups, your score on that is an actual number, which is when you multiply your total with your reps, right? So you multiply your bench press with the number of pull-ups you did.
Are you ready to feel bad about yourself?
Yeah.
Because you're about to feel bad about yourself.
And he also not just created this scoring thing, but also said, here's what it takes to get like the equivalent of an A, right? So the equivalent of an A on the bench and pull-up will be 16,000 points.
You'll need to help me do some math. What does that
That's
mean
a
in numbers?
400-pound bench and 40 pull-ups. Or a 300-pound bench and 50-plus pull-ups.
So I would have to go with the 255 option if I'm having a good day.
That's a
And then 100 pull-ups.
yeah, it's like if you're doing 255, you're going to have to do 70-something pull-ups to get there. Then followed
the rest
by
of the test.
yeah, followed by the Tabata squat and muscle up workout. An A score is 660 plus, which is scoring 22 on the Tabata squats, which is
Wildly hard.
Like, I mean, that's scoring a 20 on Tabata squats makes you like a leg endurance monster. But scoring a 22 makes you, I don't know, like a 5'4" gymnast. Like, I don't know what the fuck that even.
It's Josh Bridges.
Followed by 30 muscle ups in the 4 minutes. So I would say that is reasonable these days. That's really reasonable because most of these athletes can do muscle ups. But
Noah could do it.
realize that the 30 muscle ups in 4 minutes.
We're probably strict.
There was no kipping muscle ups back then. It was a false grip, thumb turnout at the bottom muscle up. It wasn't like a gymnastics kipping beautiful muscle up. Like this was 2003. There was, in fact, a page on the CrossFit.com site called the trophy case, where if you could do a muscle up, you sent in your picture and they put your picture on the website. This person from this gym is able to do one muscle up.
So like eating 30 really hot wings. Yeah.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
But-
That's how you get your
But
picture
better.
on the wall.
And then the deadlift version, being
I made Kai laugh, you motherfucker.
I didn't
That's
find
what
it that
counts.
funny. Deadlift 1 rep max followed by max set of strict parallel handstand push-ups. The winning score, an A plus, not even a winning score, just an A, would be 15,000, which is a 600-pound deadlift
Easy.
and 25 strict handstand push-ups off the parallettes.
Never gonna happen for me.
So, I mean, so he gives other examples of scores. And by the way, the other ones, so the 15 rep max clean and jerk, an A score on that is 225.
Yeah,
I might be able to do that one.
No.
And
Depends on define how long. If you get it really the bar resting in your hip pocket,
you can rest
and,
as
like,
long as you want.
Rest if you find a good, comfortable way to get it in your hip pocket, and then just sort of hang out there, getting all loosey goosey with the
That will
arms
not
for a
help
long
you.
time.
No.
No.
That will not help you.
It's weird. You
the
can't
time
flush
under tension.
lactic acid while the rest of your body's under tension.
I'm talking about hanging out there for like 5 minutes, being okay.
I just want you go and hang out with a bar, a 225-pound bar in your hip
crease.
crease for 5 minutes, and then let me know.
I find a
or
way
not.
to get the proper
called
balance.
sympathy pain.
And then the final one, the run thruster L pull-up. In order to score the maximum amount of points possible, you must complete it in under 4 minutes.
Say all the things again.
800-meter run, 21 thrusters at 75 pounds, 21 strict L pull-ups.
Strict L pull-ups. That's the one that gets you.
Yeah, that's the one that gets you. Under 4 minutes. So here's
an 800. A fast 800 is like for CrossFitters is like 225.
yeah.
That's
you're
on
gonna run
flat ground?
230. You're gonna go in there. You're gonna do 21 really fast thrusters in what, maybe 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
And then you have less than a minute to do 21 strict L pull-ups.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. That's not achievable.
So here's the thing. This is nothing. As far as I know, no one's done this. No one has actually taken these 5 workouts and tested them, because at this point he was still playing around with making the benchmarks. Like, the girls did not exist at this point. The workouts were around, but they were still being kind of like tweaked and turned into what we now know as the girls. So I want more than anything to just take a capable athlete and put them through this fucking battery and see what happens. Because he has a scoring table. Like, he has a scoring table that basically says your score is anywhere from 20 to 100 points, and the higher it's like an A, B, C, D situation. Like, if you get up into the 90s, you have an A. If you get the closer you are to 100, the better your score is.
We've had 11 CrossFit games trying to find the ultimate test for fitness. 2003, it's already existed.
For real, like,
For 15 years.
don't know why. I can't think of a good reason why this shouldn't at least be regionals. All of these events would be fucking incredible. I would love to watch every single one of these events. A 15 rep max clean and jerk. Can you imagine people die? Like, just the level of death that you're going to see in someone's eyes on like rep 13 as they can feel the bar slip out of their hands.
Oh, hold on a sec. Can you rest it on your back?
You can rest at the rack, not on the back.
Not on the back. Can't rest on the back.
Overhead or the hang. Even, you know what, Cliff, you can rest it on your back. I want to see how heavy you can go if you get to rest that bar on your back. You would just do every rep single. You
Video
do
coming
tap
soon.
Power,
Video coming
overhead,
soon.
Rest on your back.
Yeah, then actually just hang out, walk around, get water there.
I'm actually envisioning later Cliff walking around with the bar on his back at the gym, like at the little water fountain, just going sip, 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 sip,
Excuse
sip.
me there.
I am an expert at standing around. If all I gotta do is stand around with a bar on my back, I can do that with a heavy load, man.
This is the genius of Greg Glassman.
Wait.
The total points of all 5 tests can range from 20 to 100 points. An individual getting 20 points across all 5 of these, which means you literally can okay, so here's what 20 points across the 5 of them means. It's you can bench like 200 and do 30 pull-ups. You can clean and jerk 115 for 15 or 135 for 15 unbroken reps. You can do 18 on the Tabata squat and 10 muscle ups in that 4 minutes. You can deadlift 350 and do 10 strict parallel handstand push-ups, and you can do that fucking insane running thruster L pull workout in between 5.5 and 6 minutes, which is already a ridiculous level of fitness. That, he says, an individual getting 20 points is a reasonably good athlete.
Reasonably.
Anyone scoring 100 points, which is the top across every single event, has a credible claim to being one of the fittest men on earth. don't despair if your score looks like what would be a D-. The numbers are just that, numbers. So even he's like, don't worry, guys. None of you guys can fucking do this anyway. It's okay.
What I want to figure out, though, to even get a score on there, so a lot of these are one thing times the other thing, right?
Yes.
For the score. So what is a big number times 0? What is that? My arithmetic doesn't work.
You score nothing. You get nothing, sir.
So if
That's
you lose,
it's been
you
a while
max out your
since algebra,
bench.
but I'm pretty sure if you get a really, really big number and multiply it by 0, that it's not 0 in the end. You get a little bit of that. You get a little bit in the end.
I don't know. Can we let's go ahead and just check the cloud. Yep. Yeah, no, it's still 0.
Still 0. Yeah.
It's hard to believe, but it's still 0.
So 600-pound bench press, 0 pull-ups.
There is not a single human on the planet that can do a 600-pound bench press who cannot do 1 pull-up.
That's what you think.
But there's a whole bunch of people. There's a whole bunch of people who can get a Tabata score of 6, and then can also at the same time
Get 0
not
muscle
get a
ups.
muscle up.
Yeah,
there's
of
a
course
lot
there
of
is.
people.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone like that, but there's got to be people out there.
I can think of a couple people sitting at this table who score 0 on that workout.
You don't do that workout if you don't have muscle ups.
Yeah.
You look at the test and you go, oh, cool.
Yeah, oh,
I'm
cool.
not fit.
I am not a reasonably good athlete. That's the conclusion you draw from that. Or you just hope that you're so fucking good at the other ones that it makes up for it. But I am still, I mean, I've been CrossFitting for 10 years. I've been reading the journal for the entirety of that time. And I'm still trying to unpack some of the shit that he was writing 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, like if you can get, 50 deadlifts?
Okay, so that's Chase, you motherfucker. All right, so Greg Glassman has also said some things that, maybe don't make as good a sense as this does. Like, for example, if you can deadlift 225 for 50, you could probably deadlift 700 pounds.
Probably.
But I don't think I believe his actual statement was, I posit that one who could deadlift 225 for 50 could also deadlift 700 for 1. And that's just not true. So
I mean, it might be.
It's definitely not true, Chase.
That's what I tell people now. Whenever I tell them what my max deadlift is, I go,
My 50
I could
rep
probably do 700.
All right, so my max deadlift is a theoretical 700.
Yeah. Isn't all of our maxes, aren't all of our maxes theoretical? Like, isn't that really what it is, though? Either way, the fact is the fitness test that he described in 2003 is still to this day valid as probably one of the hardest combinations.
Yeah, because the other thing you have to realize is all that's back to back. That's
Yeah, I
one
mean,
day.
I guess I would say you have to do it in one day, but I guess you could do it over the course
Wait,
of a weekend.
I thought it was broken down like you were supposed to do it all at once.
Oh, really? I didn't read that.
Yeah,
I
that
can't
was actually
remember
my
that part.
question as well. I was like, is it over one day or is it spread out over the week?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, let's see if I can.
Can't do it over a month.
Yeah, seriously.
Is it like the presidential fitness test where you suck one day and the next is, I'll make it up. It's gonna be fine.
No, it's 1 per day for 5 days.
Oh. Well, in that case, who's
Yeah,
not
that's no
getting
problem
100?
there.
Who's not?
Yeah, of
getting
course.
100
That
on
makes it so much easier. So much easier.
Little foresight this Greg Glassman guy had.
All right. That's enough fitness talk because you guys, there's been some news. First of all, the new Deadpool teaser is really funny.
Oh,
Cable's in there.
I have
He's
not
very
seen it yet.
cabley.
I haven't seen that shit.
You guys
no.
haven't seen it?
Yeah, it's
Damn,
very
I
it's
saw
very
something
funny.
Remind me
before
who
Daniel.
is Cable, and if it's
Brolin.
not, bro, it's fuck.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
say if it's not, what's his head? The guy who looks like Cable from Avatar and whatnot.
he's
Oh yeah,
simultaneously
no, it's not that guy.
gonna be Infinity Gauntlet
Stephen
guy,
Lang. Jesus,
not
how can I
Stephen
forget
Lang.
Stephen Lang?
right?
Yeah, he is both
Yeah.
Thanos,
Thanos, right?
and
He is
Cable.
Thanos and Cable.
How does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Well, nothing needs to make sense anyway
Nope.
because of this new
Oh,
news.
hey, hold on a second. I have even more exciting news. I was on Netflix the other day, or maybe it was Amazon, I can't remember, and saw there is a direct-to-video, direct-to-streaming movie with Stephen Lang and Jason Momoa.
What?
Where Stephen Lang plays Jason Momoa's father.
What?
Where?
That is the most
Yes,
badass
yes,
thing
yes.
ever.
And here it is. They're somewhere in Alaska or something, or maybe Colorado, and the family cabin in the woods, which is isolated, surrounded by snow, has some drug smugglers have hidden their cocaine there, and they stumble upon it, and then the house is besieged by these drug smugglers trying to get their cocaine back, and his young daughter happens to find herself also there. So we have 3 generations,
Dude,
of people who clearly have no genetic relationship with each other.
get the fuck out of here,
Yes.
Stephen Lang. Look at him. Him and Jason Momoa could totally be father and son.
Yeah, look at the goatees.
In the sense that they're both human men,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he could be adopted. So fuck you and your
Yeah.
new like old school way of looking at paternal relationships. Dude, what's this thing called? This is awesome.
Oh no, that's actually that's the better part. Fuck you. Braven.
They made up a whole nother word for that.
Braven. Like Craven, but with a B.
You guys don't use
if
Braven
you can
every
watch
day?
online, we'll commentate online. He's found, a giant sack of drugs in the cabin.
Hate when that happens.
And look at all the drug smugglers who, that's what okay.
Wow.
Oh, the daughter shows up, right? The daughter shows up too.
Is Jason Momoa? Jason Momoa is wearing Carhartt in this entire thing. He just lives that fucking commercial of his with his kids.
Why would you pay for other clothes if it just gets
true.
sent to you for free?
Also,
Also,
how to be an artist.
since joining this podcast, I have not enjoyed one movie. I can't. It sucks. Everything sucks. You ever see that episode of South Park where Stan like turns a certain age and everything turns to shit?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to me the second I started.
Well, yeah.
Chase, if we talking about good movies,
Oh, he
isn't
threw an
as
axe.
fun.
Of course, he threw an axe.
Yeah.
Is that going to be your new background? That's
No.
going to be awesome.
Chase, I can give you a list of good movies to watch.
No,
there. We're just not going to talk about them on
Yeah,
this podcast.
Braven seems awesome. You know what looks fucking terrible?
Oh gosh.
The new Han Solo movie.
Sure does.
Yeah.
You know, Han Solo, what do you think of when you think of Han Solo? You think of humor, wit, personality.
Yeah.
Just personality forward.
He's a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
He's a jackal.
I haven't
It's a
actually
jackal.
seen
It's a
this.
jackal. Oh, really? You haven't seen this?
I watched it during the Super Bowl, but I
Oh.
only saw Donald Glover lost my
Oh
mind.
yeah, this is
and then left.
the full version of it, and it's really really garbage. It's full of classic Star Wars, now new level of Star Wars bullshit lines like I'm a rebel, I rebel. Except in this movie, it's I got kicked out of the academy because I think for myself.
Yep.
Or lines like I'm starting to form a team. Except in this movie is I'm putting together a crew.
I mean, here's the thing. No doubt somewhere in the movie, in the actual edit of the movie, there are, since the Lord and Miller did direct some scenes that'll probably make it, no doubt there is some wit and humor and personality featured in the movie at some point. But the decision clearly consciously was made that the way they're going to market this is super grim and serious action movie
course.
with epic action music and no real smiles, humor, nothing.
The little stinger at the end of it actually confirms that Cthulhu is in Star Wars canon as they're flying through this space, somewhere in space, like an asteroid belt. By the way, that is the Kessel Run, is what he's doing right there.
Okay, so the Kessel Run. So the name
Kessel
of the
Run
Cthulhu
is full of Cthulhu-esque creatures.
So that's the origin of the word Kessel. So Kessel is this universe's Cthulhu.
Yes,
No,
I'm
but
gonna
how do you
guess-
spell
Yeah,
that Kessel there?
It's CTHULHU, obviously.
Kessel's a planet.
Yeah, yes, I know, I understand.
Cliff, I think actually believed that.
Well,
What?
watching that, you would also believe that
Yes.
that's the fucking case. Yeah, the Solo trailer is really bad, and you can tell
great.
that they're trying to shoehorn basically everything we know about Han Solo. They're just trying to shoehorn it into that movie. Like, for a fact, at one point he's gonna look at what's the name of the chick who's
don't care.
the chick who plays fucking Khaleesi. She's in the goddamn movie.
She's
Emily
she's in that.
Clark?
Oh wait,
Emily-
we
Emilia
don't.
Clarke.
No, she's not. She doesn't have the blonde hair. Her only distinguishing feature, her fake blonde hair, isn't in it.
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
she's not
Then,
really in
the
it.
girl who was in the new Terminator movie.
There you go.
There we go. Uh-huh.
She plays what you know for a fact is going to be his love interest, who he tells "I love you," and she says "I know," and that's where he gets it from.
What a G move.
She also
It's gonna
probably
be
has
real
the
bad,
blaster,
guys.
right? So she probably shoots first, and that's why he shoots first. You know that they're gonna retcon like Han Solo is the smuggler who smuggled Obi-Wan Kenobi to Tatooine.
No.
safely
What we'll
smuggled him to
find out.
Tatooine.
What we'll find out here is that it was actually Han Solo who designed R2D2.
Yeah, I mean, they fucking may as well. The only good thing about that trailer and the only interesting thing that I saw is that Donald Glover looks like a fucking boss.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
Childish
here's the
Gambino.
thing.
Awesome.
I love that like the entirety of like the trailer drops, like they do the Super Bowl thing, and the trailer drops the next day, and the only thing anyone can talk about from the trailer is holy shit, Donald Glover looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, which makes me go, guys, you made the wrong movie.
They
Yeah,
should have made the Lando
Just
movie.
make the fucking Lando movie
That
with
was-
Donald Glover.
that was
and
my
it's
favorite
cool and
meme.
interesting.
That was my favorite meme. The next day was like, I feel bad for the guy playing Han Solo because this just became the Donald Glover movie.
It
Yep.
should be.
Well,
Yeah.
did you guys see the person who dropped the like the fake Childish Gambino track?
Oh, yeah.
The Lando one. It's so fucking good.
I haven't heard it, but I saw that happen.
If you listen to like Childish Gambino around the time that like Camp came out, it sounds like it's ripped directly from that album. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah, so I think the consensus is this Solo movie is right on track with the recent quality of films that
Can-
Kathleen Kennedy has been putting
Can
out.
I say the next thing?
More
Can I
Star
say
Wars
the next
news?
thing? I have
Please.
more
Two of
Star
our
Wars
favorite
news.
Please
things.
say the next thing because
God,
this
it
is going
sucks so
to this is
much.
going to just take it to the next fucking level. Go for it.
The fucking Game of Thrones assholes are now writing a Star Wars trilogy.
That's right. That's right. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the showrunners of HBO's hit Game of Thrones, are now in charge of writing and producing an entire new series, not necessarily a trilogy, a fucking series of Star Wars movies.
Now let's pause and take a step back to realize how much this sucks here, because it needs to be unpacked quite a bit.
Yes.
Now you might be thinking, hey, Game of Thrones is awesome. I like Game of Thrones. If these guys do a Star Wars trilogy, surely it'll be good. Except that every creative endeavor is a collaboration. Every filmic creative endeavor is a collaboration of sorts, and it's tough to parse out who did what and who gets credit for what.
Luckily.
Now, luckily, we have a perfect test case in Game of Thrones, wherein you have the show going on for multiple seasons in a row, and it's pretty good. We have these guys, are the showrunners, they're writing the screenplays, and they are coming out, pumping out stories. People like it, lots of exciting twists and turns. But then, and this is based on the novels by George R. R. Martin, but then it comes to the point where the novels of George R. R. Martin have not finished out the story, and then the showrunners, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, begin writing on their own, not using the novels as source material anymore. And sure enough,
And we get season 7.
we have
6 and 5.
yes, we arrive in territory where suddenly, inexplicably, everything just got really bad. No more twists and turns, no more real depth. The things just kind of fall into place almost as if some hack writer were just making it up as he went along. And sure enough, so basically we have an experimental test case, rarely presented in real life, where you can actually see who's responsible for what in a complex film project. None of those may ever exist again. So this is as clear, stark as you can get.
Oh, we're gonna get more proof as soon as these films come out. Because let me quote Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. David and Dan are some of the best storytellers working today. Their command of complex characters, depth of story, and richness of mythology will break new ground and boldly push Star Wars in ways I find incredibly exciting.
You read that with so much pettiness.
I am...
So I'm really looking forward to their take on, well, what if the Empire actually won?
I mean,
be
so
sick.
apparently they so this is all in
Confederate
conjunction,
guys.
by
I
the
was
way,
making a
with Bob
Confederate joke.
Iger announcing that they're going to have not just one but multiple Star Wars based TV series for the new Disney's over the top streaming service that they're producing. And the relationship with Benioff and Weiss came about because they offered them one of these TV series, and they said, we want to do movies. And the Disney's response was, well, fucking sure. I mean, we gave Ryan Johnson a trilogy. You guys can have some movies too. And Weiss and Benioff were like, yeah, we already know what we want to write about. And so they have apparently a time period in the Star Wars universe, which, by the way, if you really just look at what the canon of the Star Wars universe is, we're talking like 50 years.
Yeah.
So you could literally just make up whatever the fuck you want and make it a Star Wars movie.
Unless it is somehow uncovered that secretly on some forums there as a side project, which is the reason for his delays and other things, George R.R. Martin was writing Star Wars fanfic that then David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are then going to base their trilogy on. Unless that is the revelation, I don't see how this could
and not
be
the
other than a
usual
disaster.
Leia and Chewbacca fanfic that he's been writing anyway, but I mean like real, actual, deep fanfic.
Ooh, I want to see that more. Hold on. There are two options for it to be good. The other is that they do base it off existing Star Wars literary properties, which is all the crazy incest porn and stuff that's no doubt being written. That's no doubt been written hard left.
Hard left. Not where I thought you were
Exactly.
going.
Go in the direction of the what is the word for fan fiction where people have sex with each other in inappropriate ways? What's that called? There's a
I
word
believe
for it.
you're literally just describing fan fiction.
Okay, yes, there we go. There we go.
The word you're
I didn't
looking
know
for
there
is
wasn't
fanfic.
another kind there, but yes, okay.
Garbage?
Why else do people write their own stories about characters they know?
Oh, you're referencing Twilight. Isn't that fan fiction, right?
Yeah, Twilight. That's how Twilight started.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's how 50 Shades of Grey
Oh, 50
started.
Shades.
That's
Yeah,
right.
which is
Fanfic
like just
of
fucking
Twilight.
hilarious, by the way. That's literally like they just went through, did a word search, and got, like deleted character names and
Yeah.
replaced them.
Wait, how
yeah.
does the vampire teenage kid get replaced by a billionaire?
So
I don't know, and
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to.
That's true. I'd prefer
to
not
dive
to
deep
know.
into that. But secondarily, another thing that upset me about this was the audacity that Kathleen Kennedy had to call the existing episodic series of movies the quote Skywalker saga, and I nearly fucking lost my goddamn mind after thinking about what
Oh, right.
episode 8 was, and the fact that they still consider this a Skywalker. I don't even. You know what, guys? Thank you so much.
Well, there ain't no Skywalkers, no Mo.
How dare you?
in the
There's
third-
Ben Solo.
Exactly, who's not a Skywalker, he's a Solo. Because in Star Wars, the way the
Solo.
last names
my
work
fucking
out is the
point.
same here. So basically, the bloodline is dead. He
obviously.
won't be able to inherit the Skywalker land,
Skywalker
primogeniture.
I don't even know anymore, guys.
This is your weekly
I
reminder
don't
that
even-
Armin
yeah.
hates The Last Jedi.
I honestly don't.
He continues
even
to be
fucking
so
know
wrong,
anymore.
and it's just whatever.
There are hundreds of thousands of pages of such great Star Wars stories and literature that you should spend your time looking at instead of any of the garbage that they're going to be releasing over the next few years. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I can't wait to be yet again disappointed by Solo. Even going in with no expectations, I can't wait to be disappointed by it. So did I forget anything? Are we forgetting anything that we wanted to talk about?
I'm just worried you're like shaving years off your life by holding this grudge
fine.
against.
The grudges are the only things that are keeping me going these days. The pettiness. I'm a petty fueled machine. Chase, your social media.
I'm Chase504 on all of the things.
I am at Cliff Bogart 504 on all the things. You
weird.
see, I can say it better than he can. No, I'm at just Cliff Bogart on Instagram. That is
At
occasionally
just
updated.
Cliff Bogart.
At just Cliff Bogart.
That's it.
I
don't want
a
followers.
supersonic man on all the things.
And Kyle, who's not here, is at Mr. Kyle Bogart on the worst goddamn Instagram account on the internet.
Don't worry, he's in the comments.
And you
booing
can
us.
find me at Armin Hoist. Thanks, guys, for watching and listening, and we will catch you next week. Later.